Hello guys, so this is day 29 of the daily RC practice series. Let's look at this RC. In the first paragraph, author tells us that there are numerous views on Afro-American literature. Supporters think that African-American literature represents blacks' experiences and challenges dominant literature. While the critics believe that African American literature is part of some balkanization of American literature, sorry. Even if you do not know what balkanization is, it is okay for now. In the second paragraph, author gives his view of African American literature, and he says he sort of is with the supporters of African American literature. He says the AAL focuses on blacks' experiences and their role in American society. It also includes some oral forms such as spiritual sermons, etc. Okay. In the third paragraph, he introduces a scholar of African American literature, John Wagner, and he says that Wagner believes that African American literature must be analyzed or studied in religious frame of reference as much as secular frame. Uh, and the word choice that the author uses to introduce Wagner, one of the most prominent scholars in the first line here, his most enduring contribution to the study. Now, it means that author is a fanboy. In the last paragraph, he furthers his praise or appreciation of this guy Wagner and says Wagner believes that African American literature was as much religious as racial. It has elements of both religion and race. Again, it is evinced from the passage that author is a fanboy. Now, with this basic understanding of the passage, we are ready to look at the questions now. Okay. All right. The primary purpose of this passage is to, okay, let's see. Option A, to introduce African American literature. This is right. He does introduce African American literature here. Well, so to be precise, he does not introduce African American literature. He actually introduces people's views of African American literature, uh, supporters' opinion and critics' opinion, as we saw in the passage analysis. But fine, okay, could be considered. And Gene Wagner's influence on the same. Wait, this guy Wagner has not influenced African American literature. He has only studied African American literature. He's a scholar who studies. He's not a poet himself. So option A goes out. To document the influence of Wagner on the evolution of Afro-American poetry again. He did not contribute to the evolution. He only contributed to the study of Afro-American poetry. He's a scholar, so it also goes out. Explain the relevance of Wagner's work to the study of, okay, Afro-American religion, no, poetry, literature. Indicate the importance of Wagner's analysis of Afro-American poetry. That is correct. Option D should be the correct answer. Easy question. If you made any mistakes, you made silly mistakes. Heavy penalty on such questions. Okay. Question number 2. All of the following aspects of Afro-American poetry are referred to in the passage as having been influenced by Wesleyan hymnals, except, okay, let's see. The question source is the third paragraph, and author says the appropriateness of such an approach may seem self-evident for a tradition commencing with spirituals. Okay, so this tradition of Afro-American poetry started with spirituals, and owing its early forms, all right, rhythms, vocabulary, and evangelical fervor to Wesleyan hymnals. So Wesleyan hymnals, जो भी इसका नाम है, I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing the word correctly, Wesleyan or whatever it is pronounced. This W hymnals influenced Afro-American poetry's forms, rhythms, vocabulary, and evangelical fervor. Let's look at the options now. Subject matter, no, I don't know. Word choice, yes, vocabulary. Written here, vocabulary. So this has been influenced clearly, which means not. The answer structure, okay. Early forms, so form, structure, parallel words, okay. Tone, okay. Fervor, fervor means tone, so it is also eliminated. Correct answer option A. All right, guys. Question number 3. Before Wagner, most students of Afro-American poetry did which of the following? All right. Author says before Wagner, a secular outlook that analyzed black poetry solely within the context of political and social protest was dominant in the field. So before Wagner, this poetry was analyzed or studied only in political and social context. It was not studied in the religious context. It was Wagner who introduced the religious frame of reference as well. So let's look at the options now. Option A, it contributed appreciably to the transfer of political protest from Afro-American poetry to direct political action, nowhere mentioned, out of scope. Ignored, these people before Wagner ignored at least some of the historical roots of Afro-American poetry. Could be the answer. If this historical root refers to the religious fervor, the religious frame of reference, then this could be the answer. But this is questionable now, right now. Okay, let's look at the options if we find a better option. These people ignored certain aspects of this poetry, that is the religious aspects of this poetry, it is evident. But is he referring to the historical roots? Is he referring to religious fervor as historical roots? That remains to be seen. Option C, they analyze fully the aspects of social protest to be found in such traditional forms. No, this thing is not written that they analyzed it fully. They analyzed all the aspects of social protest. No, they viewed it only in political and social context. But did they do justice with these contexts also? It is not known. Okay, so this is out. Regarded as unimportant, the development of fervent emotionalism nowhere mentioned. So we go with option B. Historical roots is a paraphrase for religious fervor. All right. Which of the following is true of Afro-American literature? Let's see. It is at once. Uh, uh, did you also make this mistake? I made this deliberately. All but which of the following is true? All but which means except. All right. Let's see. It is at once a part of and independent of American literature. Well, here it is written, this literature can be seen existing both within and outside the American literature, which means it is at once a part of and independent of American literature. That's correct. Therefore, not the answer. Not all the members of the community that it represents, that is the Afro-American community, okay, empathize with it. Not all the members of Afro-American community empathize with it. Last line says there are some within the Afro-American community who do not like how their own literature sometimes showcases black people. So this is also correct. Therefore, not the answer. It is formed primarily of blacks' experiences. That is what the author says. That is correct. Okay. In times of slavery. Wait. Does he talk about the slavery? Let's see. Afro-American literature has generally focused on the role of this blah 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 blah. All right. What it means to be an American, fine. Among the themes and issues explored in this literature are the role of Afro-Americans within the larger American society, their culture, racism, slavery, and social equality. But has it been said by the author that it is formed primarily of the blacks' experiences? This word primarily is again questionable word. Maybe this is the answer. We don't know. It is sometimes seen as a confrontation to American literature. Confrontation to American literature. Okay. Here it is written that supporters see it as an attempt to refute the dominant culture's literature and power. To refute means to confront the American literature's power. So option D is also definitely correct, not the answer. Have to go with option C. Which of the following, if true, would weaken the author's central argument? All right, what is the author's central argument first? His argument here is that this guy Wagner uh, insisted that it be analyzed in a religious as well as secular frame of reference. Before Wagner, a secular outlook was dominant in the field. It solely analyzed black Afro-American poetry or black poetry in context of political and social context, but in context of politics and society, but not in context of religion. Okay. So we have to weaken this argument. Option A says the poetry introduced by Afro-American poets had long been viewed in context of blacks' religious experiences even before Wagner. This directly refutes the claim made by the author. According to the author, Wagner was the first man who started studying Afro-American poetry in the religious frame of reference. But option A says even before Wagner, there were people who viewed this poetry in context of blacks' experiences. Therefore, option A must be the correct answer. It weakens the argument. But let's look at the other options. The religious elements in Afro-American literature are exceptional to a few prominent poets rather than all. Now, that would, in that case, Wagner's argument would be weakened and not the author's argument. This is something Wagner believed, that religious frame of reference must be used to analyze the poetry. Author does not say that religious frame of reference should be used. He only praises Wagner for this argument. Right? So it does not directly weaken the author's argument. Racism was a predominant theme in most of these. No impact. Even if racism was a dominant theme, no impact on the author's argument. Even the American community concedes that the blacks' experiences in the United States were primarily formed out of their religious affiliations. How does that impact author's argument that Wagner was the first man who? So again, it is irrelevant. The direct answer is option A. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you scored well. That's it for the day. Keep learning. Cheers.